Listen closely, because what I'm about to say isn't motivation. It's a warning. This year doesn't care about your past pain, your broken confidence, or the excuses you've been hiding behind. Time is moving fast, faster than your comfort, faster than your fear, and it will not wait for you to feel ready. Right now, the world is quietly separating people into two groups, those who decide to win and those who watch others win. If you hesitate, if you delay, if you keep telling yourself tomorrow, this year will pass you by and it will never come back for you. Winners aren't lucky, they're obsessed. They wake up when it's uncomfortable, they work when it's painful, and they stay disciplined when motivation dies. Losers wait for the perfect moment, and the perfect moment never shows up. This year is brutal, unforgiving, and honest. It rewards action and punishes weakness. Every day you don't improve, someone else does. Every day you stay silent, someone else takes your place. Decide now. Either you become dangerous, focused, and relentless, or you accept a life of watching from the sidelines. This year can change everything, but only if you're strong enough to take it. This year demands action, not excuses, and that truth should hit you in the chest the moment you wake up every single morning. The world you're living in right now has zero respect for intentions, plans, or potential. It only responds to movement. You can talk about what you're going to do. You can dream about the life you want. You can explain why things didn't work out last year, but none of that matters unless you act. Excuses feel comfortable because they protect your ego. They give you a story to tell yourself about why you're still stuck, why you're still behind, why you're still waiting. But comfort is a trap, and excuses are the locks on that cage. This year is not interested in how hard things were for you. It doesn't care about your background, your bad luck, your lack of support, or the people who doubted you. Time keeps moving forward, brutally and silently, and every second you spend explaining instead of executing is a second you'll never get back. Action is uncomfortable. Action forces you to face your weaknesses, your lack of skill, your lack of discipline. That's why most people avoid it. They would rather stay busy complaining than feel the pain of growth. But here's the reality most people don't want to accept. Nothing changes until you do something different, and doing something different always feels hard at first. This year will expose you. If you keep making excuses, it will leave you exactly where you are, watching others pass you by. Action doesn't require confidence. Confidence comes after action. Action doesn't wait for motivation. Motivation follows action. Every winner you admire didn't wake up one day fearless and ready. They moved while scared. They worked while unsure. They decided while unprepared. Excuses delay your life. Action accelerates it. Why? You choose action. You stop negotiating with your weakness. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You understand that progress is messy, uncomfortable, and imperfect, but it's real. Excuses are imaginary comfort. Action is real pain with real rewards. This year will reward the people who show up even when they don't feel like it, who take responsibility instead of blaming circumstances, who choose effort over explanation. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You don't need someone to save you. You need to move right now, because every excuse you repeat becomes an identity, and every action you take becomes momentum. Momentum is powerful. Once you start moving, the world responds differently to you. Opportunities appear, confidence grows, discipline sharpens, but none of that happens while you're standing still, explaining why you can't. This year is ruthless in the best way. It exposes who's serious and who's just talking. If you act, even imperfectly, you separate yourself from the crowd immediately. While others are debating, you're building. While others are waiting, you're learning. While others are explaining, you're executing. Action compounds. Small daily actions stack into massive results over time. Excuses compound too, but they compound regret, resentment, and missed potential. Decide which one you're willing to live with. This year doesn't need you to be special. It needs you to be decisive. Stop explaining your situation and start attacking it. Stop blaming the system, your past, or the people around you. Responsibility is power. The moment you accept that everything in your life is your responsibility, you take control back. Action is how you prove to yourself that you're serious. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the people who win this year aren't smarter or luckier. They're just the ones who refuse to hide behind excuses when it was time to move. Comfort is the fastest way to fall behind, and most people don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Comfort doesn't arrive loudly or violently. It sneaks in quietly and convinces you that you deserve rest, that you've done enough, that tomorrow will be a better time to push harder. It feels harmless at first. A little extra sleep, skipping one workout, delaying one decision, avoiding one difficult conversation. But comfort is addictive. And once you start choosing ease over effort, it slowly rewires who you are. You stop pushing your limits and start protecting your feelings. You stop chasing growth and start chasing convenience. And while you're getting comfortable, the world keeps moving without you. Other people are grinding in silence, learning skills you don't have, building discipline you're avoiding, stacking wins while you're convincing yourself you'll start soon. Comfort tells you that you're fine where you are, but deep down you know that's a lie. Comfort never made anyone powerful. It never built strength, respect, or freedom. It only creates softness, excuses, and dependency. The dangerous part is that comfort feels like safety, but it's actually slow failure. It dulls your hunger. It weakens your urgency. It makes average feel acceptable. Once average becomes comfortable, greatness feels unnecessary. That's how people lose years of their lives without realizing it. They don't fail all at once. They slowly settle. Comfort removes pressure, and pressure is what forges capable men. Without pressure, discipline fades. Without discipline, focus disappears. Without focus, progress dies. Comfort trains you to quit the moment things feel hard. It teaches you to avoid pain instead of using it. But pain is the signal that you're growing. Pain is the proof that you're pushing past who you used to be. When you remove pain from your life, you also remove progress. Comfort convinces you that struggle is something to escape, not something to embrace. That mindset guarantees you'll always be behind those who choose the hard path. The world doesn't reward comfort, it exploits it. Comfortable people are predictable. They settle for routines that don't challenge them. They complain instead of adapting. They look for shortcuts instead of building endurance. And when competition shows up, when pressure hits, when life demands more from them, they collapse. Not because they're incapable, but because comfort trained them to be weak. While you're relaxing, someone else is sharpening themselves. While you're seeking balance, someone else is obsessed. While you're choosing ease, someone else is choosing dominance. Comfort creates the illusion of peace, but it steals your future. It makes you allergic to discomfort, and discomfort is where growth lives. Every level up in life requires you to feel uncomfortable for longer than the average person is willing to tolerate. That's the price. Comfort tries to refund that price and tells you it's too high, but the real cost is paid later. In regret, in missed opportunities, in watching others live the life you wanted. Comfort keeps you distracted. It fills your time with entertainment, noise, and cheap pleasure so you don't have to face the reality of your potential being wasted. It keeps you busy but unproductive, relaxed but unfulfilled, safe but stuck. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to leave. Comfort weakens your ability to endure boredom, stress, and pain. You lose resilience, you lose edge, you lose urgency. Then one day you wake up and realize the gap between where you are and where you should be is massive. That gap was created slowly, one comfortable decision at a time. Comfort doesn't announce itself as the enemy. It pretends to be a reward. But real rewards come after sacrifice, not before it. If you want to move ahead, you have to make discomfort your default. Wake up earlier than you want to. Work longer than feels fair. Push when your mind tells you to stop. Choose discipline when comfo. RT is begging you to quit. The people who stay ahead are not the most talented. They're the least comfortable. They live in a state of controlled pressure. They intentionally do hard things daily so life can't break them later. Comfort makes you fragile. Discomfort makes you durable. This year will punish comfort brutally. It will expose who chose ease over effort and reward those who chose struggle over convenience. If you stay comfortable, you will fall behind quietly, then suddenly. But if you learn to reject comfort, to distrust it, to see it as a warning sign instead of a reward, you give yourself a real chance to win. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. Futures aren't built there. Winners aren't born there. Comfort is fast, easy, and deadly to progress. And the moment you understand that, you stop chasing comfort and start chasing strength. Pain forges strength and responsibility. And that's the truth most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. Pain is not here to destroy you. It's here to introduce you to who you really are when there's no comfort left to hide behind. Every strong man you admire was shaped by moments that hurt deeply, moments where quitting felt easier than continuing, moments where life demanded more than they thought they had. Pain strips away illusions, it removes excuses, it forces accountability. When everything is easy, you can pretend you're capable. When pain arrives, pretending stops. You either rise to meet it or you collapse under it. And that decision defines the rest of your life. Pain teaches responsibility because it shows you the consequences of your actions and inactions. When you avoid discipline, pain shows up later as regret. When you avoid effort, pain returns as failure. When you avoid responsibility, pain arrives as helplessness. Pain doesn't lie. It doesn't negotiate. It reflects reality back to you in its rawest form. That's why weak people run from it. They want comfort without cost, reward without sacrifice, respect without effort. But life doesn't work that way. Pain is the entry fee to strength. It forces you to grow skills, discipline, and resilience. Without pain, there is no urgency to improve. Without pain, there is no reason to change. Comfort keeps you the same. Pain demands evolution. Every time you endure pain without breaking, you upgrade your identity. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. That proof builds unshakable confidence. Not the fake confidence that comes from words and motivation, but the real kind that comes from survival. Pain also teaches responsibility by removing the option to blame others. When you're hurting, when the pressure is on, you realize very quickly that no one is coming to save you. Friends disappear. Sympathy fades. The world keeps moving. That realization is brutal, but it's powerful. It forces you to take ownership of your life. Responsibility is born when you accept that your outcomes are yours to carry. Pain aches that undeniable. It shows you that if you don't act, nothing changes. If you don't fight, you fall behind. Pain turns boys into men because it demands decisions. Do you adapt or do you complain? Do you learn or do you repeat the same mistakes? Do you build strength or do you stay fragile? Pain doesn't care what you choose, but it records your choice permanently. Those who choose growth become stronger, calmer, more focused. Those who choose avoidance become bitter, resentful, and weak. Pain sharpens your priorities. When life hurts, distractions lose their appeal. You stop wasting time on meaningless opinions and cheap pleasures. You focus on survival, progress, and results. That focus is strength. Pain teaches you how to manage pressure, how to stay disciplined when emotions are loud, how to move forward even when motivation is dead. That's real power. Anyone can act when they feel good. Only strong people act when they feel broken. Pain also builds responsibility by forcing long-term thinking. You start asking better questions. What skills do I need? What habits are holding me back? What am I avoiding that I need to face? Pain pushes you to fix root problems instead of masking symptoms. It forces maturity. It teaches you that actions have consequences and that shortcuts always collect interest later. The man who learns from pain becomes dangerous in the best way. He doesn't panic under stress. He doesn't fold when challenged. He doesn't complain about fairness. He adapts. He adjusts. He moves forward. Pain becomes fuel instead of poison. But this only happens if you face it head on. If you numb pain with distractions, substances, excuses, or victimhood, it will rot you from the inside. Avoided pain doesn't disappear. It transforms into weakness. It shows up as lack of discipline, lack of confidence, lack of direction. Embrace pain, on the other hand, hardens you. It teaches patience, control, and self-respect. Responsibility grows when you stop asking why this happened to you and start asking what you're going to do about it. Pain forces that question. It demands an answer. And every time you answer with action, you gain strength. Pain is the great teacher because it's honest. It doesn't flatter you. It doesn't sugarcoat reality. It tells you exactly where you're lacking and dares you to fix it. Strong men don't seek pain for drama. They accept it as part of the process. They understand that the road to power, respect, and freedom is uncomfortable by design. Pain is the toll you pay to cross into a higher version of yourself. Responsibility is the price of that strength. Once you've carried pain and survived it, excuses sound ridiculous. Complaints feel weak. You understand that your life is built by what you endure and how you respond. This year will bring pain whether you like it or not. The only question is whether you'll let it break you or build you. If you accept pain as a forge instead of a punishment, you come out sharper, and more responsible than ever before. And once you reach that level, life stops controlling you. you start controlling yourself. Pressure is the price of power, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to protect their own comfort. Power doesn't come from wishing, hoping, or visualizing. It comes from carrying weight most people refuse to touch. Pressure is not a sign that something is wrong with your life. It's a signal that you're aiming higher than average. Average lives feel light because they demand nothing. Powerful lives feel heavy because they require responsibility, discipline, and constant decision-making. The moment you decide you want more money, more respect, more control over your time, you also accept more pressure. There is no shortcut around it. Pressure is the toll booth on the road to dominance. Avoiding pressure guarantees a small life. Embracing it gives you a chance at something bigger. Pressure sharpens you. It forces clarity. When everything is on the line, excuses vanish. You stop wasting energy on irrelevant opinions and focus on what actually moves the needle. Pressure teaches you how to prioritize, how to stay calm in chaos, how to think instead of panic. Most people collapse under pressure because they've never trained for it. They lived soft lives, avoided responsibility, and stayed comfortable. So when pressure arrives, it overwhelms them. Strong men are built by gradually increasing the pressure they can handle. They don't wait for life to crush them. They choose difficult paths that prepare them. Pressure exposes weakness, but it also creates competence. Under pressure, skills are forged, habits are refined, and discipline is tested. Without pressure, talent stays lazy and potential stays imaginary. Pressure forces accountability. When you're responsible for outcomes, when people depend on you, when failure has real consequences, you grow fast. You stop blaming circumstances and start solving problems. Pressure eliminates victimhood because it demands results, not excuses. That's why many people avoid leadership, ownership, and responsibility. They don't want the pressure that comes with it. But avoiding pressure also means avoiding power. You can't have influence without responsibility. You can't have freedom without discipline. You can't have respect without weight on your shoulders. Pressure also builds emotional control. When you're under constant demand, you learn to manage stress instead of being ruled by it. You learn when to push, when to pause, and when to stay silent. That emotional control separates leaders from followers. Anyone can feel confident when things are easy. True confidence is calm under pressure. Pressure teaches you to operate even when you're tired, uncertain, or afraid. That ability is rare, and rarity creates value. The more pressure you can handle, the more valuable you become. Pressure also removes illusions about time. When pressure is high, procrastination becomes danger. Rouse. Delays cost you. You learn to make decisions faster, to act with incomplete information, to trust your preparation. That decisiveness compounds. The world respects people who can decide and execute under pressure. They become reliable. They become powerful. Pressure also reveals who you really are. When comfort is gone and stakes are high, your habits show. If you've trained discipline, you rise. If you've trained avoidance, you crumble. Pressure doesn't change you, it exposes you. That's why strong men intentionally put themselves in demanding situations. They want the truth early. They want to know their limits so they can expand them. Power is not loud or flashy. It's the quiet confidence that comes from surviving pressure repeatedly. It's knowing you can handle chaos without losing control. Pressure builds that certainty. Many people mistake peace for power. Peace without strength is just weakness in disguise. Real peace comes after you've proven to yourself that you can endure pressure and still perform. That's earned calm. Pressure also creates responsibility beyond yourself. When others rely on you, when your decisions affect outcomes bigger than your own comfort, you mature. You think long term. You act carefully. You stop being reckless with your time and energy. Pressure forces you to grow up. It teaches you that power is not about doing whatever you want. It's about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Pressure makes you consistent. It doesn't allow emotional swings to control your actions. Consistency builds trust. Trust builds influence. Influence is power. People who avoid pressure never develop this chain. They stay inconsistent, unreliable, and replaceable. Pressure also hardens your mindset. After you've carried real weight, small problems stop bothering you. Noise fades. Criticism loses power. You become difficult to shake. That mental toughness is priceless. The world tries to break you daily. Pressure-trained men don't break, they adapt. They see stress as information, not as a threat. Pressure is not your enemy, it's your trainer. It's the resistance that builds strength. Without resistance, muscles shrink. Without pressure, character weakens. This year will increase pressure on everyone. The difference will be who sees it as punishment and who sees it as payment for power. If you run from pressure, you'll stay small. If you accept it, carry it, and grow under it, you earn the right to lead your own life. Power is expensive. His fear, his laziness, and his emotions. Weak men let circumstances decide for them. Strong men decide first, then shape circumstances through action. Struggle is the arena where that decision becomes real. When you wake up early instead of sleeping in, when you train while your body begs you to stop, when you work while others are relaxing, you're not just building results, you're building identity. You're telling yourself again and again that you are someone who does not run when things get uncomfortable. That belief becomes unbreakable over time. Ease makes you dependent. You start needing motivation, validation, perfect conditions. Struggle makes you self-sufficient. You learn how to move even when nothing feels right. That ability is rare, and rarity creates power. Strong men understand that life will bring pain regardless. The question is whether that pain will come from disciplined struggle now or from regret later. Regret is heavier. It lasts longer. It eats at you quietly when you realize you had the chance to push and chose comfort instead. Struggle, on the other hand, has an end. It leaves you stronger than it found you. Choosing struggle builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what's hard instead of what's easy, you prove you can rely on your own word. That trust becomes confidence. Not loud confidence, not fake bravado, but calm certainty. You walk differently when you know you don't quit on yourself. Ease destroys that trust. Every broken promise to yourself weakens your identity. You start doubting your own discipline. You stop believing your goals are possible. Strong men protect their self-trust fiercely, and struggle is how they earn it daily. Struggle also sharpens focus. When things are hard, you stop wasting energy on nonsense. You prioritize what matters. You cut distractions. You simplify decisions. Ease invites distraction. It fills your life with noise, entertainment, and excuses that keep you busy but stagnant. Struggle demands attention and presence. It forces you to engage fully with your life. That engagement is growth. Strong men also choose struggle because it prepares them for reality. Life does not stay easy. Pressure arrives. Responsibilities increase. Competition intensifies. Men who trained in ease panic when demands rise. Men who trained in struggle adapt. They've been here before. They've felt resistance. They've learned how to push through fatigue, doubt, and fear. Struggle gives you experience under fire. Ease leaves you untested. Untested men fold when challenged. Tested men stay composed. Struggle builds resilience. It teaches you that discomfort is temporary, that emotions pass, that pain can be endured. Once you learn that, fear loses its grip on you. You stop avoiding challenges because you know you can survive them. Ease keeps fear alive because you never face it. Strong men also understand that struggle creates respect. Not applause, not likes, but real respect from others and from themselves. People sense when a man has been through hard things and didn't break. There's a gravity to him. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't need to prove anything. That presence can't be faked. It's earned through struggle. Ease produces entitlement. Struggle produces humility and strength combined. That combination is dangerous in the best way. Choosing struggle also builds responsibility. When you take the harder path, you accept ownership of outcomes. You stop blaming luck, systems, or people. You understand that your effort matters. That mindset changes everything. Responsibility gives you control. Control gives you freedom. Ease gives you excuses. Strong men want freedom, and they know freedom is built on discipline, not comfort. Struggle forces discipline to grow. It hardens your routines, your standards, your expectations of yourself. Over time, what once felt hard becomes normal. That's how men evolve. The bar rises. The standard sharpens. Ease lowers the bar. It convinces you to accept less than you're capable of. Strong men refuse that insult. They would rather suffer now than live below their potential forever. Struggle is also honest. It doesn't flatter you. It shows you exactly where you're weak and demands improvement. Ease lies. It tells you you're fine when you're not. It delays the truth until it hurts more. Strong men prefer the truth early, even when it's painful, because pain with direction is progress. Pain without direction is despair. Struggle gives pain meaning. It turns effort into purpose. This year will offer you ease constantly, shortcuts, distractions, comfort disguised as balance. Strong men will see through it. They will choose the harder road, the lonely mornings, the uncomfortable decisions, the long grind. Not because it's glamorous, but because it works. In the end, ease produces spectators. Struggle produces leaders. And the men who choose struggle don't just win. They become someone who can never truly lose again.